So hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast, and it's one that we as a team have been looking forward to for quite a while. We've got Sophie here, who founded the amazing Discord server that we all met in, and I'm sure you recognise our other special guest if you've been anywhere on Formula 1 social media. It is, of course, Matt from WTF1. Their podcast was sort of the reason I came up with the idea of us doing our own. And it's where I based a lot of our segments off of. So thanks, Matt.
Careful, we don't want to get taken to court for this.
Be 50% royalties.
Welcome. Bold of you to assume we get royalties.
Yeah, I was going to say, bold of you to assume we make money. But no, welcome to the podcast. Thank you very much to you both for coming on. Definitely a fanboy moment when you joined the call. It's like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Shall we get going then?
Yeah.
Yes. This week, we're talking about our favourite sort of classic races, so ones not from the 2021 season, except from Canada 2011, because that's everyone's favourite race. That always wins.
I still haven't finished watching it.
Yeah, didn't you start watching it at like 12 o'clock today?
Chris, you're not one to talk about not finishing watching things.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's swipe that one under the carpet.
I still have half an hour left. I
added the caveat of not Canada 2011 because I briefly went round the call last week and it was like, what's everyone's favourite? And you could see someone said Canada 2011 and everyone else just went, yep.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like any other race is fine. So,
well, Richard, you added that caveat. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, I've also got Alex. Alex sent me a few. So
okay.
Before.
Well, let's hear from Alex then.
Bowling. Okay, so
let's see what he said.
I mean, he sent me a nice healthy list. So Brazil 2008, but that's quite obvious. But then his next choices would be either Turkey or Italy 2020. For recent ones.
Italy 2020. We have three.
I think he'll mean Monza by the fact that he's just called it Italy, not Emilia Romagna del Made in Italy 2021, etc., etc. He's also said Silverstone 2021, but that's because he was there. Also fair enough. And has also said Japan 2005 and Brazil 2009, which were both good races. Japan 05, I believe that's the one Raikkonen came through from like 17th or something, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a great race. And then Brazil 2012 and Germany 2019 are ruled out because of Hülkenberg heartbreak.
He's just listed. I mean, wasn't it one? Have we just gone through the entirety?
I mean, I did ask him for one.
Everybody else doesn't need to answer.
That's right. That's it.
He's covered all of them.
Yeah. We can go home now. Thanks for coming on. Told you it wouldn't take long. But yeah, I mean, he's picked out some good ones there. I mean, Brazil 2008. You can't look past that really. That's as close as a title fight.
Was better. 2012 Brazil was definitely better because obviously you had the drama at the end, but as an actual racing spectacle, I think 2012 Brazil was better. Obviously you had Vettel punted around.
Yeah, because that was a start to finish sort of thing, wasn't it?
You had Alonso out there on dries as it was getting really wet and he did one of the most miraculous saves in the history of Formula One. And yeah, I think that one as an actual race was probably better if you actually looked at the energy of the race, but I guess because of Hamilton winning on the last corner, everyone will remember that part. But
everyone loves an is that Glock.
Yeah,
is that Glock on the second to last corner of the last lap? It's just it's mad.
It's beautiful. I mean, I'm not even like it's openly known on the podcast. I'm not a massive Hamilton fan. I shoo me and everyone else, but I don't hate the guy, but it's like that's a pretty brilliant way to win your first world championship, especially after the way he lost out the year before. Like beaching it in the gravel trap in China is not exactly the style you want to go.
Conspiracy.
I mean, they have
when he
covered
writes
it
his
over
book,
now.
we'll find out that they weren't allowed to win that title. I guarantee it.
But then, what else has he got? I mean, Turkey 2020 was, I think that was fun just because it was completely not what we expected.
Chaos.
Yeah, like we went into the weekend and all the drivers were like, oh yeah, we're going to take turn 8 flat. It's going to be amazing. And then everyone's just like tiptoeing their way around.
Imagine calling a race where Hamilton won by half a minute a classic. I
mean, he is a massive Hamilton fan, so I feel like there is an element of bias in there. So not that I'd be picking like Austria 2020 or anything. Lando third. What a race.
Amazing race.
It was a good race, but I don't think it was like one of the classics. The
Iconic
last
moment.
Yeah, the last couple of laps that's the thing. It's very hard for a race to be amazing start to finish. You have to have something happen at the start, like one of the lead contenders, like we had with Brazil 2012 when Vettel got spun. It has to happen, and then there has to be that sort of capability of that massive comeback. Like if we had this sort of year, if we had George in a Williams or Mick in his Haas spun round at the start, you're like, well, that's it, race is run. Because they're not going to fight their way back to the front and fight for a win. Like, yes, we've had great points this year with George qualifying supremely highly, but if he ends up at the back, he's not going to get points this weekend, sort of thing. So, Chris, as the other resident Hamilton fan, what are your favourites?
Okay, Sakir 2020. It was just mad.
Another conspiracy.
Yeah, George and the Mercedes.
George didn't have a flat. There was no puncture.
Okay, if you say so. One that had Singapore 2017, I think it was.
Oh, the Max sandwich.
Vettel and Max just hit each other.
I love going back to that one because all I remember is they followed the first corner and then Seb's escaped from it all eventually, and he's not got his front wing or whatever, but then the camera just cuts to him and he's going backwards around the corner.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like, hang on a minute, something's not right here.
He spins as well. There's just this gaping hole in the side of his car. You're like, I think you might need to stop. Tuscany 2020, and Mugello, again, chaos. I felt like anyone probably could have won that race because everyone seemed to like crashing.
Yeah.
11 finishers. Another reason I picked Singapore 2017, I think it's the last time we had a time limited race that was actually a race. Not looking at you, Belgium 2021.
Come on, that's not really a race. I think we've discussed that at length.
Another conspiracy.
That's not a conspiracy. That's just money. Sorry, Jean.
Sorry. I enjoyed the Abu Dhabi 2018, I think it was, because for once there was actually action. I think, was that the race we lost DRS as well? And Bottas
that's why there was action.
Screaming through the pack.
Which seems so counterintuitive. You take away the overtaking assist and there's more overtakes.
But that was also a heart-wrenching race because I think everyone who was leaving just retired.
Wasn't that the race that Hulk flipped upside down? Is that the right one?
It was. Yeah. I think that was also the year we saw rain. Not enough for there to be rain, but we did see rain. It fell from the sky.
We still need Bernie Eccleston sprinklers for that to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Ben, do you want to go next?
Well, most of mine have been ticked off. Can have Canada 2011.
Well, that's because it's just such a good race.
Yeah.
So then I would go to Brazil 2012 because Jensen won that as well. So, but we spoke about that. So then I would go to Austria 2020 just for the moment that Lando got third, because we could obviously talk about Hamilton's penalty and say, oh, another conspiracy for another time. We'd just say that. But
I would just like to point out, don't you claim there's a conspiracy against McLaren?
That's specifically my beef with Michael Massey, all right? And it's specifically against Lando.
Even though Lando got third thanks to a penalty.
Yeah, it's for another time, Chris, for another time.
That was last season.
Okay.
Yeah, but for the moment when Lando got third, as I was watching it with my brother and dad, like the moment we seen he was under 5 seconds, that everyone just started cheering. It's like forever.
It was so tense though, because he comes around turn 9 and the time ticks under 5, and then as he goes through turn 10, the clock just disappeared.
Yeah.
And then between there and the line, you're thinking, well, he was ahead. Is he still? And then there's just that like really awkward pause where everything is just so tense. And then you hear it over the radio. It's like, you've done it. And it's like, yes. But like, it was, the suspense there was unbelievable.
That was the considering one time it was third. F1. That's the one time that I cannot floor the F1 TV direction one bit. They got that absolutely spot on with how they showed the penalty.
Yeah,
I can't say that too often, but that was perfect.
We've definitely been ribbing them this year. So you're free to join in on that if you like.
Lance Stroll.
The classic now.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh. It's an instant classic. I did, however, commend them somewhat on the race coverage last time, because it always seemed to be like when Lewis went for a move and didn't quite make it, they instantly cut to another move that was happening elsewhere down the field. Whereas other races we've seen, they'd have stuck with Lewis a bit longer and then we'd have only got the other overtaken a replay sort of thing. So for me, it was marginal improvements last time out, but you know, there's ways to go yet. But
I just hate seeing all the action in like the little screens that are put next to the names, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, what's going on there? Can we cut
mainly
to that?
You're
broadcast for ants.
Yeah, literally. When I've not got my glasses on, there's just no point. I'm like, Matt, what's going on?
I'm like that with my glasses on.
Now, see, normally the thing is, if I'm on the Discord server and I'm in the group call, there's a nice healthy delay between my broadcast and other people's broadcasts. So I'm just sat there like, yes, lights out and away we go, as I watch Mazepin roll up to the back of the grid. Because I'm hearing everyone go, oh my God. And then about a minute and a half later, I'm like, whoa.
No. I couldn't do that.
That is a flaw. That is a flaw in the Discord. That it just can't be fixed unless we all paused and then played at the same time. But that gets really difficult.
and then Twitter's ahead of you, and then it's never going to be perfect. I think it's, unless you have like a simulcast where everything is done instantly, it's not going to work, because like I go through, because obviously we in the UK we have Sky, but I don't have Sky. I have Now TV. So obviously Sky broadcast it, and then Now TV get hold of it, and then it comes to me. So there's that extra daisy chain of delay. So I think that's why I'm quite far behind everyone else.
Chain of delay. I've never heard that phrase in my entire life.
Sky and on them,
welcome to it.
Have a small delay of their own, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a delay of some kind, but it's when you go through the series of events that it takes to get to me that it's like, yep, okay, so someone just sat in their living room in the Netherlands is about a minute ahead of me. Cool.
They're already singing Supermax.
Yeah, you can hear the song, and they're already at the chorus while you're just on the intro.
Shall we come to you then, Matt?
I've already said mine. I've already said Brazil 2012. There you go, straight out. I mean, obviously Canada as well is up there, as you know. We can't speak about it though. I mean,
we're free to speak about it. It was just the fact that everyone was just going to say Canada 2011 if I didn't cover it off. I mean,
we waited 4 hours for it, so I'm not sure it does go down as the most enjoyable spectacle, just purely because it took ages to bloody watch it. And also, I will not have people heralding Jenson Button for an incredible drive. He wipes out Lewis Hamilton. He wipes out Fernando Alonso. Still wins because of luck, basically, and everyone's like, he's the greatest driver on earth. I will not have that Jenson Button drove well in that race. He drove terribly and somehow won. But it was still very good. What else was, I guess...
Matt, I did just want to point out, you do realise who the photo of is behind Sophie, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
okay,
there's in our living room.
Soph had it. It was expensive. It was going up, you know, whether I liked it or not. So
good choice. You chose life.
No, I didn't. Yeah, exactly.
I think what made Canada good though was the suspense of waiting as well.
I'm sorry, the suspense.
I really
there's 4
enjoyed
hours.
that.
Well, you enjoyed waiting for 4 hours.
Yeah, I remember me and my
That
dad
is
sat
rubbish.
there. We was like,
Sophie,
had a
did you-
picnic on the floor. It was great. It was such good memory because we was
did
getting
you
so
enjoy
high.
Belgium?
Spa as well then? Yeah.
I was going to say, Matt, is Sophie normally a really patient person?
No.
I was going to say, this goes completely against the grain.
But no, what you said about Belgium, Chris, no, I really wasn't that patient with Belgium. I was okay for about 2 hours and then I was just
What's the
like,
difference?
right.
I feel like the difference is that Canada actually got going.
Yeah, no, but she said she
And
enjoyed
then
the suspense.
then we had the stop. Yeah, but we'd already had some action before we had the red flag. Not wanting to like completely back myself into a corner.
Saying that 2 laps behind the safety car isn't action, because I'd say that absolutely.
I am 100% against that. I think I've done more laps in a go-kart in better conditions than that and had more fun than watching those 2 laps. It was, not a race in my books.
I was not happy with that weekend because that was the first weekend I had off since Austria. That was the first weekend where I could watch a race. 2 laps I got to watch. I was
fuming, positively fuming.
Tamping, fuming, raging. You can't tell I'm Welsh, so.
That one was annoying for me because I work Sunday evenings, so I'm annoyingly going to have to surreptitiously watch this while I'm at work. Don't tell my boss. I work in a supermarket and it's shut, so it's fine. All else happens, I'll just have like an earphone in. It's all cool. But it meant that with the 3-hour delay that we had for Spa, I was trying to like wolf down my dinner and get ready, and it's still just like, okay, yeah, we've gone out and we've gone back in. And it's like, in that time, I hadn't even like finished my dinner. So it was over before it even begun, really. But yeah, I feel like that's going to go down in one of, if not the worst race, air quotes there, of all time, because I mean, that was just terrible. And that's putting it lightly.
Thank goodness the F1 Commission is looking at regulation changes.
Yeah, finally. I mean, that's the thing. They always look at regulation changes after the fact, like 2005 USA Grand Prix. Now there's the minimum of so many cars need to be running to call it event. So, we didn't have that problem when only 6 cars turned up. So it's one of those, oh no, a problem happened and everyone's unhappy. Let's fix it. Oh, look, we're doing so good. Instead of proactively getting ahead of the problem. I mean, obviously, in some cases, that's, you're fighting infinitesimally smaller fires at that point. Like, what are the odds of a certain event occurring? But something like a completely washed out race, as much as it is rare, this is planet Earth, and we do go to some places with very changeable climates. So I don't feel like that should be such an unprecedented situation. When in the past we've had qualifying moved. We had it at Japan a couple of times, and we've had all sorts of stuff. Free practice sessions are easy enough to just cancel. It's just free practice. The less data the teams have, the better, in my opinion. But, that's because I like watching fun stuff. Not, oh, look, we've calculated the nth degree of what millimeter of tyre that Lewis is going to use around turn 8. So he can go for exactly 62 laps before he needs to pit for the softs. It's like, just get rid of that. That's why I quite enjoyed the preseason testing cut down, because there was less of it.
That they're then ramping straight back up again next season.
That's more understandable in a way because it's a completely new regulation set. But at the same time, I would still quite like to see them go into that first race with absolutely no data.
And then they all
trip to Barcelona.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let them do like a shakedown test to make sure everything's working, but not like 8 hours a day, 3 days a week sort of thing. So I'm all for letting them like test reliability. What I don't want them is them getting all like the aero data before they've even got to the point, so that before you've even got to the first race, everyone's ordered like 62 different upgrades. And suddenly everyone's a mile faster. Let's see that battle happen through the season rather than until the summer break, and then everyone does another step. So that's the way I'd like to see it go personally. But I mean, I'm going to segue onto my one of my favorite races. Well, more just for the absolutely chaotic start and the fact that we got two of them, because gotta love Murray. He was a legend. 98 at Spa. Yeah, that was mental. Just watching all the teams scramble to get the T car ready.
It's difficult how you measure a classic race, though, isn't it? Like that.
Exactly.
Most people are out the race already, and it wasn't exactly a great race after that. But everyone's like, "Oh, well, they all crashed, so therefore it's a classic." It's crazy.
It's those moments, though, isn't it? That's the thing. That's the bits that people remember. You go to football, you don't
remember the entire 90 minutes.
Yeah, a match isn't necessarily just because the match is a classic doesn't mean the 90 minutes were full of action. Like Rooney's bicycle kick in the Manchester Derby, that's a brilliant goal and is probably up there with the classics, but I wouldn't say that the whole match was. So it's much the same as any sport, really, which is fine. We can't expect it to be like 100% balls to the wall action every single go, but it's those special moments that make it what it is.
It's a special moment. They all crashed.
I mean, special. David did just such majestic things with his car that day. It just, never seen such car control since Mazepin made his debut.
We'll come to him later.
Oh God, I'll be jumping off the call at that point.
Sophie,
that's all right. You'll enjoy this segment.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. Sophie, favorite races.
Favorite races. I feel like we've gone through so many already. For a more personal reason, I say Silverstone 2018 I really enjoyed, because I went with my dad, and that was the first race we've been to in a few years together. And it's like a wholesome point of view. I had such a good day. But it was the race where Kimi and Lewis, who's Louis? Kimi and Lewis crashed.
Didn't
and then
Lewis
ended up at the
F1
back
cars?
of the grid. Yeah, and I feel like there was quite a lot of action in that race. Like we had Max ended up I think he ended up retiring in that race as well. I really enjoyed that for like a wholesome moment. But one that I really enjoyed was Germany 2019. It was the day after my 21st birthday, so I was so hungover watching this. And I thought, I'm not going to be able to keep awake for this, but I was hooked. It literally cured my hangover. That race was absolute chaos, like that. The whole Mercedes pit stop incident, it was just is this actually happening? And am I still drunk? Am I actually experiencing this? It was, for me, I thought that was, even though it was only a couple of years ago, it's still a classic for me, because it just was, I thought it was an incredible race to watch. Anything with rain's pretty good, isn't it, really?
Except
Belgium.
We discussed this last week. We said when we want rain, we want changeable, because it's that transitionary phase between the dries and the inters, or the inters and the wets, and back again, that creates the spice that really livens up the races.
I think one of my favorite races I ever did on the F1 game was a 7-stopper. Brazil 100%, and it got you to the first pit stop. Then it went inters, wets, inters, dries, and then back to inters again.
That's another one of those tracks that just has its own sort of, you hear the phrase thrown around the paddock quite a lot, microclimate.
Yeah,
it's like when you see it at Spa, you can have completely different weather up at Les Combes compared to La Source, and I think circuits like Spa are brilliant, just purely because they're that vast that you can have different climates at opposite ends of the track. But at the same time, it's unreasonable to try and make 23 circuits the same size as Spa purely to have that effect. It's never going to work that way. But weather isn't the only thing that would make a race great. Sophie, you said Silverstone 2018 when Lewis and Kimi, that came at the middle of the Ferrari Mercedes fight having come straight off the back of Bottas being spun by Seb at France. So, you can look at a race as a classic, and then you've got the sort of how that fits into the season and the greater season narrative. Like this, the season we're at the minute is always going to read back as a great season purely because of how close it's been at the front. And it's been a while since we've had that sort of thing. Like 2018 with Ferrari, that was sort of like the closest thing we had, but that was more purely on a constructors level. Like 2019, 2020, it was kind of just like, okay, and he's wrapped it up. Like I said last week in the Turkey post race that it was at Turkey the year before that Lewis had wrapped it up. That meant he was over 100 and something points clear, but now it's single digits, and we've still got 5-6 races to go, and it's brilliant. This season has been one of my favorites for a long time. I think probably the next best in terms of recent history would be the Rosberg season, Hamilton Rosberg 2016. That was good, but then it's you think back, and it's, as much as we remember everything with rose-tinted sunglasses of Seb's dominance at Red Bull was completely outrageous, but then you go back and Schumacher's dominance was the same, and you go through history and there's always chunks where one team always seems to do better, and it's like we're living in that at the minute. We were living in it with Mercedes, and that's fair play to them. They've done a great job. As much as it makes the sport more boring at the minute, we'll look back on it and go, they did incredibly. But
yeah, I'd argue
they did exactly what a team's meant to do. They found the best car.
Yeah, and Red Bull's dominance as well. Everyone says they dominated in that era, and you look at the results, and fair play, they were the best. But like 2012 was an unbelievable season where it went down to the wire, and I think that was 2010 was when it went down to the wire. Yeah, there was a few going down to the wire moments anyway, and had 7 different winners in the first 7 races in 2012, which is something that 2021 hasn't managed to do.
True. But we have had a lot of people on the podium though, and it has been good to see.
Yeah, we absolutely have. But there were, in back then, even though Red Bull dominated, McLaren were getting pole, Ferrari, there was loads of different teams getting in the mix. Mercedes dominance, on the other hand, has been absolutely clear. Like even Ferrari didn't have the dominance that Mercedes have had in recent years, and that's why we've lost so many viewers from the sport. But they're coming back now after Drive to Survive, and of course 2021 being without a doubt the best season since 2012. I mean, the Rosberg versus Hamilton 2016 was only good because that was the only fight we had. That's the thing though. That's the thing, because we've in years gone past we've had teammates that are clearly in the dominant car, but then haven't fought. Like you go back to Schumi with Barrichello, and it's like, get out the way at Austria, and it's like, okay, like, I know you're doing it for the championship, but you're 6 races into the season at that point. It's a bit early for that.
We
isn't it?
Need to go that far back.
But it's nice to have
currently.
It's nice to have the inter rather than intra team rivalries going on again, which is something we've missed sorely for the last couple of years on a sustained level. Like, yes, there was the period after the summer break where Ferrari came out all guns blazing with extra oil. But it's so they had their moment to step back into the spotlight, but that was quickly shut down on rightly so on regulations. But it's now that we're having this sort of 2 teams going about it in 2 very different ways. Because that's always been said, the Red Bull have like the shortest car on the grid and the Mercedes is the longest, and Red Bull going high rake and Mercedes going low rake. It's brilliant to see 2 different things completely pay off in such a way, and the external circumstances leading to it being even closer than it otherwise could have been.
Yeah.
Like if Max hadn't had that tyre blowout in Baku, we wouldn't really be having a conversation of, it's been in single digits for the last 6 races. It would be Max has lost 3 points from his lead and is now down to like 17 or something. But like it would still be close, yeah, don't get me wrong, but you know, it wouldn't be as close as it is. And it is brilliantly close.
Very true. Shall we discuss the US Grand Prix then?
Gotta love CotA. Let's go for it.
Yes. So we'll do it the normal. Poll and podium predictions, bold predictions, and Mazepin Bingo. So, who wants to go first? Who's brave enough to put it out there early doors?
Hamilton pole.
Richard's going for a Hamilton pole. Ben?
Hamilton as well.
Sophie?
Yeah, I think Hamilton as well. Like Hamilton's really strong around this circuit, and so are Mick. So, yeah, I feel like it's going to be a Hamilton.
Nia?
Let's go with Max to switch it up. Keep in mind, I've never seen a race at CotA, so.
We told you to get F1 TV. You can watch all the races you want.
I do.
Very bumpy.
Yeah.
Matt?
Bottas.
Oh,
Oh.
I like it. He has come on
Yeah.
a renewed man since he got his future sorted. I know.
Exactly.
I know. There's the whole Valtteri, it's James, please abort, and that whole debacle. But he obviously slowed. But he's so much more focused. I feel like he can now just drive and do what he wants rather than. I'm still waiting for the Valtteri, it's James, and just complete radio silence. That's what I want. Can't wait for that. That's going to be brilliant.
It's not gonna Leave happen. Me alone. I know what I'm doing.
Following in his Finnish tutor's footsteps.
I'm going to go Hamilton.
And Alex has gone Hamilton as well.
Yeah.
Also, no surprises there.
Yeah, pretty much. Podium, Ben.
Hamverbot.
Matt.
You got up it at least once.
Hambot Ver.
Nia?
You expecting some team orders there?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Verhamrick.
Wow. A lot of people
Yeah.
have conked out. That is, I'll tell you that for free.
Sophie?
I'm probably going to go same as Matt, Hambot,
Course
just
you were.
because.
Course
No,
you
just
are.
because.
Such a copycat.
No, but the Mercedes are statistically quicker in the corners, and there is 20 turns around CotA. So
Is that your actual thinking? Is that there's more turns and therefore Mercedes?
We love a bit of pseudo maths on this
Yeah.
podcast, all right? I
It's
spent about
quite
30
impressive.
seconds trying to work out how many 4 seconds go into a 2.5 minute lap to work out exactly how many laps down Mazepin would finish. So, the pseudo maths on this podcast is top tier.
no, I just think Mercedes they've been strong at this circuit, and like you said, Bottas has kind of bounced back a little bit, and I heard Max talk, I think it was last week, there was something about him saying he was a bit more nervous. Not nervous, he didn't explicitly say that, but you could tell that he knew this was going to be more of a challenge than the circuits we've been racing at more recently. So yeah, I think the Mercedes are going to dominate here.
Okay. I'm going Hambot Pair.
Wow. So Max has conked out then.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just got a feeling it'll be a Perez podium rather than Max. Richard?
Hamvernor. Because Mercedes power unit. And
Mercedes go vroom.
I feel like Norris is going to have points to prove after Russia. So I want to back him for a good weekend, basically. Not because I have his hat on the shelf behind me or anything. Definitely not.
Yeah, definitely.
Just passionate.
Exactly. I went to tennis on Sunday and somebody else had a McLaren hat on. And I had mine with me. And I just pulled it out of my bag and just went, so doubles then, yeah? And we actually ended up just playing a match of doubles as McLaren. So, You find Formula One fans anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, even I feel like the supermarket is like one of the main places I see them, like just someone knocking around in the veg aisle in like a Red Bull jacket. And I'm always like, Matt, look, that guy's got like a Mercedes hat on. I love seeing F1 people out and about, but I never go up and speak to them. I just kind of awkwardly smile as I walk past, hoping they're going to look and interact with me, but it never happens.
That's like me at work, because I work in a cafe, so sometimes see people wearing F1 merch, I'm like, I want to say something, but I'm not going to unless I serve you, because then I feel bad, because then I'm already talking to you.
Yeah, I've had a couple in work, usually on race day as well, which makes it even more interesting, so you just get their immediate reaction. I think it was Bahrain, first race of the season, there was somebody came in a Red Bull jacket, and I was just like, you wouldn't have enjoyed today's race then. Bold prediction time.
Oh God.
Oh wait, we didn't get Alex's podium prediction. What's
Hamverbot.
Hamverbot. Bold
Sorry,
predictions.
So these can be as specific as you want to dare go. There is the allure of extra points that I gave to Nia on that one time that she decided to specifically name where 4 people were going to finish.
It was both Ferraris, and I said both Ferraris and both Astons in the top 10, and I guessed where they were. I got it completely wrong, but
yes, you did. But the lure of extra points was there.
It didn't really offer something like 45 points.
I think it was like 30.
Yeah, I gave 30 points. So.
I did get George not in Q3, but points for his first point. So
you did. You did. Right. Well, I'll kick us off with Alex just because I've got it right here. And the championship gap will be 1 point or less by the end of the race.
Or less.
So tied,
He's covering himself off by like not saying it's just going to be 1 point. He's saying 1 or 0. So
interesting.
Nia, do you want to go next?
You know what? Since we said I was being specific at some point, I'll go.
You will name the entire top 10.
I'll go with Carlos 7th.
Okay.
You're not getting any extra points for that. It's just
that's just 1 point.
a standard bold prediction at that point.
If I check in a couple other teams, do I get more points?
As long as they're very specific.
We'll come back to you. Ben.
11th.
Vettel top 8.
Seb top 8. Sophie?
George in Q3.
George Hughes.
That's just a given these days, isn't it?
Sometimes.
Not always.
Matt?
If a stopper will break someone's car.
Okay. Oh God, that's my go. Oh wait, no, Chris, you can go first. There you go.
Yeah. I had it in my head. I forgot it. Oh no. That's not good. Richard, back to you. Give me a moment.
I just want to check one number before I give mine because it requires standings. Constructors. Okay. Okay, cool. So McLaren are currently on 240 and Ferrari are on 232.5. So I'm going to say there will be a change for 3rd in the constructors.
I'm going to go with Williams in the points again.
With Coffee Lord Latifi, yeah?
No, I'm not specifying. if either of them makes the points, I'll be pleased.
I think everyone at the factory would be pleased.
They'll work there. But yeah, so Williams points. And now for our sort of unique segment, welcome to Mazepin Bingo. The rules are as follows. First of all, you tell us.
It's the only bit of the podcast we have robbed from yours.
If he finishes, then if he does finish, will he be lapped? And if so, how many laps down will he finish? And finally, on which lap will he first be lapped?
There's 56 laps in the race.
56
Just what I was
laps
looking
around
up.
CotA.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, Richard, you invented this segment. You can go first.
Oh, right.
You can do your whatever kind of maths you do to figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's highly scientific, really precise. I look at the lap record, and then I think that Mazepin goes about 3.5 seconds a lap slower than that. And then I work out
This is
how many
far
times.
too much thinking. Far too much thinking.
Then I work out how many times that goes into the lap record, and that gives me how many laps it will be until he gets lapped, which gets ruined if there's rain.
Or a safety car, or anything else.
Literally the last 6 races. It's been great.
So will he finish, Richard?
Yes, he will finish.
Will he be lapped?
Yes.
How many times?
56 laps. I'm going to go for a nice round 2.
And on which lap will it first happen?
23.
23. Nia?
I'm going with the same thing I always do.
So that's a yes, 25 and 2, yeah?
3.
3 laps down. I
3
do
laps
apologise.
Yeah. Oh my God.
3.
Sorry.
Didn't that come true on like the first race as well?
First time we did it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've stuck with it ever since. I've changed the 2 and 3 sometimes, but that's it.
Ben?
He will finish 1 lap down, lapped 22.
Wow, so he picks up the pace after that, doesn't he?
I was going to say, yeah.
That's 22 and only 1 lap down. Jesus.
Goes for over half race distance without being lapped a second time.
He might be a safety car.
This is true. Unlaps himself. This is true.
I'm going to go with yes, he is lapped. Well, yes, he'll finish. Yes, he'll be lapped, obviously. He drives a Haas. He'll finish 2 laps down and will be lapped for the first time on lap 21.
Okay, right. I've got Alex's here. He said he'll finish 2 laps down and on 27.
Sophie?
I think 1 lap down on lap 26.
And he will finish?
Yeah, he will finish.
Matt?
No, he won't finish.
Okay. What lap will he DNF?
1.
Okay. Which corner will he DNF?
Turn 1.
Okay. There we go. There's Matt's prediction.
I love it.
Is he taking it flat or not?
Of course he is.
One game lover, yeah.
No rules.
Yeah.
But simulation damage.
Ooh, speed. And finally for this week, that wraps up all the schedule points, but F1 released the provisional calendar between last episode and this. Immediate reactions, everyone?
Australia's not the opener. Sad Ricardo noises.
But it is back to its March slot.
Yeah, but it's not the opener. And I know it's not been the opener for long, but, you know, it's been the opener. So,
I'll be honest, I enjoyed Bahrain as the season opener this year, and I'm very happy it's kept that spot. It was a brilliant curtain raiser. I do love the track.
I'll be happy as long as we actually get to go to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Rather than, it's on the calendar and we've cancelled it again for the third time.
I just want to see a race in Australia.
It's so overrated, Melbourne. The only reason people love it is because it was the first race of the season.
Well, we've
now
got
it being
the new
third,
track layout now.
It's just dead, isn't it? Like, it's going to be the third race of the season. Everyone's got used to F1's back, and they'll go, oh Jesus, Melbourne is actually not a good track.
Well, I mean, it's following on from Saudi Arabia. So if Saudi Arabia turns out to be a damp squib, then it has hope.
Yeah.
True.
Plus, it's the first race back after a week off. We have a double header, a gap, and then Australia. So I feel like that might help its case in the fact that people are missing F1 again because they got used to 2 races in a row, and now it's just like, give me more F1.
That's the other thing. We have Saudi Arabia next month, and then we have Saudi Arabia again in March at like Bahrain 2020 to 2021.
Mad, isn't it? That is mad.
Yeah, definitely.
Money talks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cash is king.
Yeah. Netflix, straight on that.
Yeah.
No, I think with Miami on the calendar, I'm so excited for Miami.
That's an interesting slot.
Yeah, I thought they'd do it when they do the rest
everywhere else in America. Yeah.
I thought they would do it next to Canada.
Yeah, just one of those options would have fit in a bit more.
Maybe they're avoiding some horrific plague bug spawning season that the drivers wouldn't be able to see through.
I think they're avoiding hurricane season in Florida.
Or that.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we go to Japan in typhoon season, so it's the same thing. It's just, other side of the world. So they got a different name for it. So I don't know. It seemed interesting to me that they put it there. I mean, like you said, I'd have put it next to. Oh, here we go. Here comes Chris's classic share screen.
Calendar. Yeah.
We do love one of these.
We do. If I can find
Stewards documents on them, but
oh god, yeah.
No stewards documents this week. That's next week. Next week we're back to stewards documents.
Oh god.
Because there always is stewards documents to talk about.
Yeah.
So we're opening in Bahrain, then Jeddah, Melbourne, Imola subject to contract, then Miami subject to FIA track homologation, but I can't remember the last time our track failed that. Then Barcelona, Monaco.
Do we know if they're still planning to change the last chicane at Spain?
Not sure yet. If they do, that'll have an extra asterisk added to it because they'll need to re-homologate the track again.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they were just looking at going back to the old layout, really. But
yeah, Monaco with a 3-day weekend as opposed to a 4-day weekend. Azerbaijan, Canada.
Well, that's not going to work. They normally do everything on a Thursday at Monaco.
Anymore. Friday free practices.
Ruining the tradition. Unbelievable. Nothing is sacred.
Canada, Azerbaijan double header.
Love that.
Because that's great for the environment.
The whole sport is
then we're off to Silverstone, then Austria. So a bit of a switch from this year. Then off to Le Castellet. That's very weird seeing Le Castellet here. It's a very odd slot for France.
They've swapped us and France, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's all that's really happened there.
Yeah. Hungary rounding off the first half of the season. Then into the intensive second half, which is Belgium, Zandvoort, Monza, Sochi.
I love that.
Back to Singapore.
It doesn't matter what race calendar we get. Every single year, my birthday is in between race weeks. So I never have Sophie's joy of curing a hangover by watching a race, because my birthday is exactly in the middle of Monza and Sochi. It's just no fun for me.
The last race at Sochi, everyone. Get the celebrations ready for Big Falls. We don't need to go back.
Brilliant.
Then we're going.
You say that now. This depends on how St. Petersburg performs. We might be begging to go back to Sochi.
Then we're back to Singapore, back to Suzuka, the USA, Mexico City, Brazil, and then rounding out this season in November. So we managed to avoid going into December again.
And it's Brazil, Abu Dhabi doubleheader.
Yes, because environment. And then that rounds off the season. The first season of the... Yeah.
A lot of races. A lot of races.
I feel bad for the people working in F1, who have to be there at every race.
But at the same time, I'm extremely jealous of them.
Yeah.
Want that job. And if not that job, Matt's job. What? What I don't get is why we have all of the triple headers in the second half of the season. It just seems a bit overloading to me. Why can't we have one or two of them before the summer break? Why does it need to be 2 on and 1 and then 2 and then 1? It's just put one forward.
Our first time with cars on track is a 5-day test in Barcelona between the 21st and the 25th of February, followed by a 3-day Bahrain to the 12th.
Oh yeah, they're doing the split testing again, aren't they?
So we've got 8 days of pre-season testing, everyone.
Hooray!
Oh no.
That's your life sorted for that week then, Chris.
Yeah. Because I will admit I watched every minute of pre-season testing this year.
I did not this year. I did
last year as well.
But not this year.
I did, and I was just writing scripts and shot lists and all that for college as well. And I was like, I want to watch testing, but I've got to do this. And I was like, I had to teach between the first half of second day. I was not happy for that. Not tampering human radio.
So we're actually going to have a podcast on a track day for the first time ever.
Yay! We'll have something almost relevant to talk about for the first time since contract talks got announced on Mondays.
It's day one as well, so we'll get to talk about the day everyone's car blew up.
Well, it depends if Williams turn up on time.
Yeah.
No, I think Williams will be Haas this year.
Yeah, it'll be Haas.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doralton will spend the dollars on that express shipping. Haas don't have the dollars; they have rubles.
Next day delivery.
Next day delivery. Oh, why did you send it to Russia? So, I don't know. I'm excited for next season purely on the fact that we've got such a wholesale change of everything. But I feel like the top teams have already done a lot of the work that they've needed to, because
they spent all their cash before the cost cap.
Yeah, they got all that work in before they were going to be hindered by any kind of limits.
It was the Ferrari master plan, wasn't it? The season where the wind tunnel time was decided was the season, I think Ferrari finished 7th or something. So then they get a whole load of wind tunnel time for this season coming up, which is will it pay dividends? We'll find out, won't we?
The great Ferrari master plan.
Yeah. Red Bull have pulled a mad one by getting the engines frozen for the next 4 years as well.
Yeah, everyone still tweaks it, and everyone still manages to go that little bit faster. Yeah. So
finally gets a good Honda engine. Yeah, let's freeze them, everyone.
Well, I mean, could you imagine the pain if they'd frozen it at Alonso's GP2 phase?
GP2 engine, GP2.
Yeah, we wouldn't have heard the end of that. I think everyone would have just walked away and just gone, right, we'll have new engine manufacturers, please. Everyone wants a Mercedes.
I still think my favourite one is the engine feels much better, much slower than before. Well done.
Yeah, he has so many classic quotes, but that's what happens when you're around the sport for so long. Yeah. So
that can be for another episode. Classic team radio.
Not me. I got that in the bag.
Yeah. But yeah, with that, I do believe it wraps up this week's episode. The other calendars for other series were also confirmed this week. F2, F3, FE. But we will talk about them closer to the time. Probably Formula E first, because after Formula 1 stops, they start next. So, and then F2, F3.
Yes, you say that, but it's literally just me and you who watch Formula E.
I was going to say this is a you thing, mate. We're a Formula 1 podcast with two people that watch Formula E. So
it's a good racing series. It's a world championship. You should watch it.
I got the Michelin Man.
Exactly. I've got a Formula E pin on my Formula 1 lanyard that I wear to uni. So, but yeah, thank you very much once again to Sophie and Matt for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us.
No problem.
Thanks for having us. Really
on
enjoyed
this
it.
Fledging Formula 1 podcast.
I just love that you guys have created this and all made friends through the Discord, because that's what
off the back of your creation, eh?
Yeah, it's what I started it for. I hope people would have found friends.
You're Mother Teresa, basically, aren't you?
we are but building on the shoulders of giants. You have laid the platform. We merely have now got a framework to build around.
Yeah.
So. But it's nice to see that people have made friends, and it's it served its purpose. It's nice to see
that. You guys are more than welcome to join us again. Because it has been fantastic having you both on. Hopefully Alex will be with us that week.
In terms of heads up, I literally just need 5 minutes notice because we rigorously plan these things to the nth degree. So if you ever feeling like Monday evening, I wonder if they'll have me on, just drop me a message.
Because we will. Absolutely will.
They're very professional.
But no, once again, thank you very much for taking your time out.
Awesome.
To everyone else, remember to like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube algorithm things.
And other listening media.
Be sure to buy merch from the WTF1 store.
There we go.
That's what Matt really came for.
WTF1.com.
Cover the fact I'm wearing my Veloce hoodie right now.
All links to all links to everyone will be in the description.
Yeah.
All socials and everything.
Yeah. As always, everyone's social media can be found in the description. Do give them all a follow. And you might get to join us one week. Who knows? But yeah, so thank you very much for watching and listening. And we will see you next week for the US Grand Prix review. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.